Massimiliano Assante, and I'm going to introduce you first some slides, and then we will go through a live demo. So, just the context. What is the computational engine, or what we call it, method engine in a nutshell? Well, it helps scientists in performing in silico experiments, supplies pre-cooked methods as a service. This means that when you open the method engine, you will find that methods that are already written by someone already ready to be used out of the box. It performs calculations in a seamless way to the users. When you run, in fact, when you run an algorithm, when you run a method, it goes on the SoBigData cloud infrastructures and in a seamless way. And it is possible to share input, to share the results and the parameters with colleagues by means of virtual research environments. What are the features of the method engine? It is a user-friendly data analytics platform. It offers a graphical user interface and HTTPS access for each method by using the Web Processing Service WPS standard. It automatically stores provenance management information for each method execution that you perform, and it is equipped with a method integration tool. In fact, you can import your methods, your software, via a dedicated tool that we call Software Algorithms Importer, with extensibility with respect to supported method and languages. So let's just quickly go on this web processing service standard that we use in the computational engine. It is an open geospatial consortium standard. It provides rules for standardizing inputs and outputs for geospatial processing services, but it has been adapted to any service. Defines how a client can request the execution of a process, facilitates the publishing of geospatial processes and clients discovery, and allows data to be delivered across a network or uploaded on the server. As I was saying, one of the main features of this computational engine is that there is an importer tool which is part of the demo. And in this slide you can see the whole picture. So basically you can import your script or software written in any language, more or less, R, Python, C, even 9 more flows. It goes to these method importers that is also is a web application. So where you will import your software, you specify what are the inputs expected, what are the output expected, and then there is this automatic integration process that results in a web user interface automatically generated for your service, for your software, and a web service. Plus, it will appear in the method engine interface. So the method engine in SoBigData is in some of the exploratories and is in the mostly is in the lab VRA. So what we are going to see now is the method engine in action. So the fastest way to access the method engine is to use the button link on the top bar here. When I open it, I can go to, we will see the three options: access to the data space, execute an experiment, and check the computations. We will go first to the execute an experiment part. Here you can see on the left, you can see a number of pre-cooked method out of the box methods that have been already imported and are ready to use. Some of them are part of the Gate Cloud infrastructures of University of Sheffield. When I click on a method, I can fill in the user interface, which changes depending on the method, and start the computation. So in this case of ANI plus measurement, which annotates name identities as well as numbers and measurement expressions, I just need to select an input text file from my Workspace. I typed that I have a test pipeline txt ready, and then I can type the annotations that I want to locate and want to be annotated. I will just write default to use the default annotation and start the computation. So this, as you can see, this will now is going to be ran on the SoBigData computational platform, and I have progress bar which informs me about the process, the progress of the computation. The computation is complete now, and I can see the output file produced. I can download it. In this case, it is a JSON file that is that has been annotated for me. Let's try to run another algorithm among the one imported, for instance the statistical validation of networks. So here you see that the interface is different, right? This method takes in input the edge list of a weighted unipartite or binary partite network and returns an output network that is filtered by statistical comparison of the given network with a new model which has been the same number of nodes and the same degree strength sequence. There is a link if you are curious more about what this method does, but the important part is let's try to run it. Okay, so I have a sample of edge list. In this case is bipartite, so I will just leave the parameters as they are, but I specify that it's a bipartite, so binary bipartite network, and I start the computation. So you can see even in this case it is seamlessly running on a computational platform. What I also have here that is nice to mention is the equivalent web processing request that you can use to let's say execute this method by means of other softwares. And you also have the link to monitor the computations, because not every computation takes this few seconds to complete. So you have a link, an HTTP link that it is possible to use to know the status of your computation, and you also have an HTTP links that allows you to actually execute the same exact method with the same parameters, same input by means of a simple HTTPS call on the SoBigData cloud network. So I can copy this, for instance, and I can paste it in my browser. Now the browser is executing it, and here this is the result. The result is an XML that is compliant with the web processing service. Here you have the result, and the result is you have the log of the computation and the output of the computation, which you can parse and use it in your in the other application, so you can pass it to your colleagues to execute the same experiment. And of course the interface does the same, so you can see the log to the computation and the output. In this case I'm downloading it, and it is a set of CSV files that have been produced by this computation here. What is important of this method engine is the possibility to check all the computations that have been performed. Here you can see in this list, you can see every computation that has been performed, and if you click on it, you can see that every computation is saved. An XML is automatically saved with provenance information. The input data dataset that was used is also automatically saved, as well as the output dataset and the log file of the computation. This is very important because it goes towards the reproducibility and repeatability of experiment. And if you go to access data space, in this case you can see as well the output datasets that were used for each computation, as well as the input dataset that you can use. So now let's see how do we import a method. How can we import a method that runs into the method engine? Now that the demo has been done, let's focus on some of the characteristics or features that the method engine does. In the slide you see the user's workspace. So each SoBigData user has a cloud storage up to 50 gigabytes. That is called Workspace, and the method engine for each computation creates a folder with the overall computations. So you can see here an example of this overall computations folder, and for each computation you have the input data that are saved automatically, the output data, and the XML with the provenance information, as well as the overall input data and the overall output data. So let's talk about the provenance. The provenance is information about entities, activities, and people involved in producing a piece of data or thing, which can be used to form assessments about its quality, reliability, or trustworthiness. The method engine uses the Prov-O format to store provenance information. It is an ontology that expresses the provenance data model using the OWL2 language, the web ontology language. So it provides a set of classes, properties, and restrictions that can be used to represent and interchange provenance information generated in different systems and under different contexts. And this, goes in the direction of open science. In fact, through the method engine, you can see here the logo, the software product is called Data Miner, but it's not just about data mining, of course. So the method engine, SoBigData method engine or computational engine, uses standards, uses provenance for repeatability, uses standard for reusability, and uses self-consistent component object for reproducibility. And because it saves everything in the workspace automatically, and because the workspace has these features that you can share folders with your colleagues. It is possible to use this computational system together with your colleagues by sharing the computation folder. So you can work together on the same experiment, change the input, see what the other colleague did, and progress to the possibly successful result of your experiment. And nevertheless, there's also the possibility to use third-party software. For instance, here we use the QGIS icon, because by using the standard and by the fact that each method becomes a web service, it is possible to call this web service through third-party software. Now you may wonder, okay, but what is the privacy, my code privacy guaranteed? Yes, it is guaranteed. Why? Because the method provider updates the method on his private workspace. Then what happens is that the service downloads the method on the fly. So the computational engine downloads the method on the fly. Another user can execute your methods, right, with his data, and the output, the input, and the parameters can be shared with with other users, of course. And this user can experiment again and share the computation with other users. But the private code is downloaded on the fly, executed, and destroyed. So in this way we guarantee code privacy. Okay, let's see how to import a software or method in the SoBigData infrastructure. So let's talk first about the supported languages. Anything is possible, more or less. So you can import R scripts or R BlackBox scripts, can be integrated directly. You can import Java, Octave, and Python scripts in any of these languages. They are integrated as black boxes, and the wrapper is automatically created by the software algorithms imported. You can import pre-installed methods, so usually used for bash scripts invoking several commands, as well as Linux compiled or Windows compiled, and you can import KNIME workflows. So ad hoc approach for integrating a KNIME workflow that is previously exported in this KNIME format. And as said, the integration has to be carried out using this tool. So let's see how. First, there are two modalities, editing versus black box. The editing is support for R and the bash, pre-installed bash scripts, whereas black box is support for all the other languages. So black box basically means that you import your software, you specify what are the input parameters, what is the expected output, and that's it. Let's focus more on this editing versus black box. So editing, you can edit your code in the tool, as you can see here, and what you basically have to do, besides scripting and coding, is that you have to specify what are the input and output parameters by selecting it. Instead, the black box, you import the files and the configuration and the configs, and specify the input and output parameters. So examples are more easy probably to understand, so we will see here an actual example in Python, a very simple Python program. You don't need to know Python to understand this program. You know, a basic knowledge of any programming language would do. So in this example, we want to simply sort alphabetically the words from a list, right? So you have a function that print the words, one per line. You have a list of string as input of this program, so you pass the list of strings. In this case, they are names: Teresa, Sebastian, Donald, etc. Then you have the function that actually sorts the word. In Python is the sort method. And then you want to print the words, right? So you have a function that print the words that have been sorted. So the first thing that you have to do if you want to import your program is to separate the input and save the output, because otherwise it cannot work. So the function that you would write, so you need to create a function that read the words from a file instead of having this list of words embedded in your program. Then you have you need to save. Instead of printing, you need to a function that saves the words to a file. So the function that reads them from a file for input, and the function that saves the words to a file for output. So in your program, you expect a file name as input, and then you would call the function that load the words, by reading them in the file. You use the sorting of the words, and finally you save the sorted words in a file called result.txt. So the script is now ready and working. It can be called like this: sort.py words.csv. And if you print the results, you will see that the result.txt file has an ordered list of names. So this is the program. Let's now import it in the method. What do? We click create. We select the Python among the option Then you need to create a new folder in the Workspace for your method. In this case, the folder I create is sort words. It's the name of my method, the method that I want to import. No real fantasy for the name, but it should be fair to explain what it does. So the first set of information that I have to provide is the name, the description, and the category of the method. The category, name and description, of course, we will understand what it does. The category is a grouping option that we offer in the method engine. So if you write a category that already exists in the method engine, the method will appear under such category. Of course. You can then upload your program files with drag and drop, as you can see here, and you can specify if this method is private to you or can be executed by anyone in the VRA. So if the private option is selected, this means that you only will be able to see in the method engine list, whereas if the private checkbox is not selected, no one except for you will be able to see it. Now that I have imported my program, my files, the files of my program, I have to specify which is the main file of the program. In this case is sort.py in this example. So I click sort.py and click set code. Now I have to configure the input and the output of my program. So in this example, we have, if you remember, we have a file as input, a file containing the unordered list of names or words. So in this case, I would, say by using this interface that the type of input is a file. I can also specify a default name for the file. And I have also to specify how many output parameters are expected. In this case, just one. And even in this case is a file. So the result is a file containing the words in alphabetic order. And I can also add the default name that has to be given by the program. In this case is result.txt. Let's talk about interpreter and packages. There is always a list that is available to see what are the packages and the pre-installed packages available to be used. Here you can see a number of pre-installed packages that are available for you to use. And if you need to have packages that are not present, you can open a support request and we will install the package and make it available for you. Okay, this is complete. This part is complete. Now that everything has been done, I have to actually publish the method in the infrastructure. And to do so, I can use the publish button. Now, if you see in the software part here where the arrows, blue arrows indicate that there is also the zip repackage option. What is the difference between publish and repackage? So publish creates the web graphical user interface and makes the method available in the method engine, while repackage, which is available only in the editing mode, makes the method available in the method engine but does not modify the graphical user interface. And this is particularly useful because it's faster. So when you code in editing mode only and you did not modify the input and output parameters but just modify the code of your program, you just click zip repackage and also publish is faster. It takes like a couple of minutes to be available in the method engine, but repackage is even faster. It's a matter of seconds. So this is the difference. So what happens when you click publish? This is the feedback of the interface. So a progress bar that tells you that the publishing is in progress, and at the end you will be notified by this pop-up that says the software has been published, the cloud system is being updated, and your process will be available within some minutes. How do you know that the method is available within some minutes? Well, the last part of the publishing workflow notifies you that publishing they have published the algorithm. So you will receive a notification email about the result of the publishing phase. And this is an example, okay? So this is an example of an email that you will receive when the installation of the infrastructure is completed successfully. So let's now see the method importer in action. So the method importer is in the top bar, where, you know, nearby the method engine. There is also the part of the documentation that explain everything and the main steps that you know, has to be done to create a new project in different language, even say Java, whatever, you know. So I invite you to check it out. But let's see. Let's now open the method that I show you in the slides in the method importer. So there is a folder here. Oh, where is it? My methods, and the sort words folder contains the code. I select it, and now the software importer opens it. As you can see, the name is sort words, the category is Python example, the description is a method. Let's just update. See, a method that sort words in a list. Okay, I dragged it before the sort.py method, and the other files are automatically generated by the system, so you can just ignore it. But the sort.py method is the one that I show you in the slides. The input and the output parameters are already set. The interpreter, Python 3.7, global variables is empty. So let's now see the method engine. There is no category with with the Python example, so now I'm going to publish it. So I click publish, and it is private. So if you can see, it's checked. The private is checked. So I say okay. So it will be only me. And actually, let's do this so anyone can use it if they wish. Let's make it public and publish. Yes. So now the publishing is in progress, and the software method is being uploaded in the infrastructure. It usually takes a minute or so. And then the expected result is that it will appear as an available method in the method engine list. As you can see here, now I'm being informed that the software has been published. And usually after this, a couple of minutes or so, I should receive an email about the result of the publishing. So let me check my email. Okay, I got the mail, which is here. So that means that now I can go to the method engine and execute my imported methods. So I go to method engine, execute an experiment. I click refresh operator list just to make sure. Here the category was Python example, and I find the algorithms that sort of were in a list published by myself at the time of publishing is the September 30, 2021, and it's 15.47 GMT. So as you remember, this is a simple algorithm that would simply order the words. So I have to select a file. The file that I'm selecting is in my workspace. So let me show you very quickly. Is this one here? Where is it? Yes, okay, will we use this one here? Let's download it. So we will use this file. It's a very simple files with name that are not ordered, words new. So now I'm selecting the file, words new, select, and start the computation. Computation is this one here. The other is other computations that I ran before. The computation is finished, and the produced file are in the log of the computation and the result. Now if I click and want to see the result, I can click download. It will download the file, and here the result is the ordered list. So the method has worked. And if I go to the check the computations, I can see that I run this method now at 6 p.m. 30 September. I can see the provenance information, the output dataset, and which were the input datasets. Here you see the results and the log file, and you can also see them here. Computation report. You can see the file again. It's all been stored. And I can also resubmit the same computation by clicking resubmit. So if I click resubmit, this exact computation with the same parameters will be re-executed. You see here, starting, running on the computation. So we are here, we are reproducing the same method, the same method computation with the same parameters and same output as means of verification.